You said on GB News, for example, falsely, and I quote, "More than 50% of social housing in London is now occupied by people who are not British. This is not acceptable." Well, forget not being acceptable. It's not true.
I think it's about that. I think it's about 47, 48%.
It's not, actually. The percentage of people who are not British in London social housing is about 14%. No. 85% of people are British citizens.
No, so my view would be, in terms of housing, we're in the middle of a housing crisis. I think we should have a principle of national preference in our housing market.
We do. 85% of people in London are British who are in social housing. No, you falsely said that more than 50% are not British. That's false.
No, across the country, more generally.
Across the country, it's 90% according to the Ministry of Housing.
When we were allocating social housing, we also used to take into account things like commitment to the community, looking after property, etc. We don't really do that anymore.
That's a fair point. That's not what you said, though. I just want to go with what you said, Matt, with respect. More than 50% of social housing in London is now occupied by people who are not British. That is not true.
I'd need to look at the statistics.
We have the statistics. According to the London government,
I also wrote...
the figure in London is 84%. According to the 2021 census data, only 14% of Londoners living in social housing did not hold a UK passport. It's been pointed out to you for the last year.
No, it hasn't.
In fact, you went back on GB News and corrected it and said 48% go to people who are headed by people who are not born in Britain, which is a different point. But you would accept the vast majority of people in social housing are British.
I'd need to look at the data.
I've got the data.
No,
it's right here.
The fact that 48, I think the 48,
copied and pasted.
I think the fact that 48% of social housing in this country has gone to families that are headed by somebody who was not born in the country is a problem.
So that's a different argument, with respect.
Well,
and let's talk about that argument.
Well, let's have that.
No, let's have that argument. You were wrong on the first point.
I don't think I was wrong on the first
point. You're 100% wrong.
Well, I'd like to look at the data.
The Mayor of London, the census data.
I don't think the Mayor of London would be a credible source on that.
Okay, the London government. The London government don't know who the... All right, how about...
It's a highly political figure.
All right, how about the Ministry of Housing? 90% of social homes go to UK nationals. You're making some sweeping claims.
Guys, the far right heavily relies on media outlets that don't challenge them, allowing figures like Nigel Farage to spout misleading claims for years. With the rise of right-wing channels like GB News and Talk TV, figures on the extreme fringes of politics know that they can throw about any fabricated statistic without fear of being called out. This misinformation then seeps into the mainstream. One person who's particularly skilled at this is Matthew Goodwin. He's on a crusade against immigration, constantly pushing false figures to stir up fear and anger, especially towards asylum seekers, who he prefers to call illegal immigrants or illegal migrants. But this is where good journalism steps in. Mehdi Hasan, during an interview, by the way, I love Mehdi Hasan, during an interview with Goodwin, called him out on one of the more outrageous claims regarding social housing. Goodwin had previously said on GB News that more than 50% of social housing in London is now occupied by people who are not British. Mehdi immediately challenged this and provided the actual data. Only 14% of people in London's social housing are non-British, according to the 2021 census data. Caught out, Goodwin dodged the fact, saying, "I think it's about 47 or 48, completely ignoring the real figure. When pressed further, he dismissed the data simply because it came from Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London. This is how right-wing figures like Goodwin operate. They throw out false statistics, and then when they're called out, they either move the goalposts or undermine credible sources. It's crucial that journalists like Mehdi Hasan hold them accountable, but it's equally important to ask them, where are your figures coming from? Because more often than not, they don't have any. They're just trying to fuel a narrative. These types of claims go unchallenged far too often in right-wing media, and before you know it, ordinary people must start believing these lies. And then the cycle repeats, with the far-right using this manufactured crisis to justify harsh, divisive policies like closing borders or limiting asylum claims. It's great that Mehdi called out Goodwin on this, but we need more journalists doing the same. But let me know what you think in the comments. I've been Jake from Just Jake, and as always, I will see you next time. You actually made it to the end of the video. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, which, why haven't you already, is somewhere over there. And also, if you want to watch more videos, also check out over there. I've been Jake from Just Jake. See you later.